Thank you, gentlemen. Let's move on. As Nigerians await the commencement of the student loan, the federal government has stated that the Nigeria Education Loan Fund, NELFund, portal for eligible students will open this March. Executive Secretary of NELFund, Akintunde Sawyer, urged eligible students to register to access the fund. Speaking on the reason for the delay, Sawyer explained that the process is technically driven and necessary measures are needed to put in place for proper implementation. Bikio, let me start with you.
Let me begin by saying that we are there already. On Thursday, the president will officially kickstart this student loan scheme. So, yes, people have had a reason to be apprehensive. I even read on one of my friends' wall, Facebook wall, that, it's an audio loan. This is a government that is deceitful. This is an audio loan. It will not happen. I know I can say emphatically today that on Thursday, the president will finally kick it off. So all of the claims that, it's an audio project, it will not happen, it will not come to pass, this government is a lying one, this and that, all of that we will put to rest on Thursday. So now listen to what the Executive Secretary said. This is a program that will probably run beyond me as a human being. And this is something that we want to run adequately, so we have to get it right. I agree that for a game changer of a program like this, you have to get it right. Don't rush into it. Do it in a manner that is foolproof. We have said that only the people desire it the most must benefit. I'm aware, for example, that even students of private schools, private universities, they are saying that they should be enrolled on it and all that. The same way that private universities are now asking for TED-Fund.
TED-Fund, yeah.
To fund their researches and even help them freshen up infrastructure in those schools. A private university set up with the purpose of making money in mind. Why should they want TED-Fund? TED-Fund was not set up for that. Why do they want state universities? A lot of state universities are benefiting from TED-Fund.
Yeah.
Many of them, without TED-Fund, they won't even have buildings.
That's true.
Maybe 1 or 2 buildings. Because some of those states are not funding those universities sufficiently. They've not got enough funds. People can't pay salaries regularly. They've not got enough funds, yet they see setting up universities as a political thing. So you can see now the proliferation of universities, and even ASU is complaining about that. So
it was just last week we talked about Ambrose Ali University.
Yes, it's not the only one. Even some of those universities are worse than secondary schools in some places. Some secondary school infrastructure are better than what some universities have. If you see, even primary school, some primary school infrastructure in Borno State, for example, you will argue that it is a primary school. You know, the governor is just something less. I saw a primary school built in 100 days. In 100 days, the last time I went to Borno, I saw the primary school. That community had never had a primary school, so they asked for it, and they gave them. If you see the building and the things that they put there, recreational facilities and all that, you will never believe it's a primary school. Public primary schools are never built to be that attractive. So, yes, in September, they said they will kick it off. September became October, and then we came to January 2024, they said they will kick it off. But now, we've been told that unfailingly the president will kick it off on Thursday. Let's just pray that now we have a date that will not change, and many people will benefit from it. People will not know the value now. It's several years after that they will know that, look, they've been fortunate to go to school because there was a scheme like this. I remember the famous lawyer, Awomolo, telling me that he would not have gone to university if not for this kind of loan scheme. There was a student loan scheme back then when they were growing up that I benefited from. He told me. So when he heard that the president was going to do this, he was quite happy. He said, put me on one of your programs, let me talk about the benefits. And we did. So it's a thing of joy that at last this bill that the president signed into law on June 12, 2023, to give indigent students access to interest-free loans will eventually kick off. And they've said that it is 2 years after your service year that they will begin to deduct the money. So kudos to the president for coming up with this idea.
And for those who also said, what if the beneficiaries remain unemployed 2 years after? What will happen? So the secretary said if you're in private business, you will tell the loan board how you want to repay, either in the 10% model or any other percentage you want.
Yes, I think it's okay that the secretary is speaking now. That's Akintunde Sawyer. What we've had, and which I discovered about 2-3 weeks back, has been that the secretary has been doing a lot of groundwork. I started seeing photographs in the media about 3-4 weeks ago, meeting with this, meeting with that, and I think it was good that he didn't rush Nigeria into that program, that he did what he ought to have done. And what do I mean by that? There is always this feedback we get in Nigeria after giving out loans, people not repaying, and the system being unable to find them, to track them, to trace them. But I think one of the things that has been done has been liaising with the National Youth Service Corps. How do we even track these people when they finish serving? If we are going to get our loans 2 years after service, then we must have a way of tracking them. He has also met with the Ministers of Education. He has met with NELFund and all the rest. So it's a good planning process. And I think the major thing Nigerians want now will be information in the public space. Yes. What is going to happen? Now we've been told it will be 2 years after, because some people are thinking it's the kind of loan that you take now and the next semester you begin to pay back. No. You take it now, pay directly to your school. You are not going to have access to the money, because that's the good part about it. So that some parents don't collect the money, and instead of using it to pay school fees, go and use it to marry more wives. So it's a good one. Let it go directly to the school. So meetings have been held with the National Universities Commission, National Board for Technical Education, every strata of our institution. So you now have a system that can fund, that can pay directly into schools. So that has been sorted out. You now have a system that can track those who take the loans. So you can't just disappear into thin air. Anywhere you are. That's a major concern. Yeah, anywhere you are, even if you are out of this country, the system will be able to track you, because all of these things will go into the database of the government, because your NIN is there. So if you take a passport, international passport, for instance, and you decide to travel out, it will be on the system that you are out of the country. And if you get a job, because NIN is now important, BVN is important for all of these things, it will show where you are part-time. So I think I support the thorough planning that has gone into this. Instead of rushing to start it in October or November, and then we get to some point and we say, we are stuck. So it's a good one, and we should give kudos to the executive secretary.
Before we go on break, Bikio, now that the scheme is scheduled to kick off on Thursday, do you expect that it must have accommodated some of the concerns of ASU and NAS?
No, the ASU was even opposed to it. That's been an issue, and I can't understand why
even till now
ASU does not want the student loan thing. I mean, for me, it is not even their business. It is meant for students. Leave it for the students. ASU, so it had nothing to do with the demands of ASU. The ASU demands are quite different. And it did not spring from an ASU demand. ASU never asked for it. ASU wants tertiary institutions to be properly funded. ASU wants infrastructure in federal universities to be freshened up sufficiently, and there should be a fund, set aside for that. So those demands have not been totally met. So ASU has demands on the table that are yet to be met. Even the matter of IPs, it has still not been implemented the way the industrial court said it should. So, and they are still being owed salaries. Government agreed to pay 4 months out of 8. So the remaining 4 months are still there. It's part of even the demands that the NLC made, that federal tertiary institutions, their salaries being owed them should be paid. So,
since we're talking about education, tomorrow or today seems to be the last day of the 7-day ultimatum SANU gave to the federal government.
I think they will meet their demand in the end. I guess it was a mix-up somewhere. There's no way this president would have said, don't pay SANU. It makes absolutely no sense. If you are going to pay ASU, who are the cause of the strike in the first place, if you pay them, why would you not pay people who are quite passive about the strike? I mean, if you won't punish the other people, why would you punish these ones who are not at fault for the strike? So there was a memo to the Fed that they should be paid. So I don't know what happened along the way, but I know it will be addressed.
So you want to make some contributions there?
Yeah, that will be sorted out too, because